All right. So now we're going to talk about SWOT. SWOT is an acronym. It stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So you want to do this at the beginning of your strategic planning process to determine what's going on inside your organization as well as outside your organization. As with all parts of the strategic planning process, you want to involve the key leaders in your team and get input from staff and other stakeholders. But for this exercise, it's really it's a self-assessment to see what do you do well, what do you do less well, and what's going to happen in the future, and where can you go. So let's start with the strengths. The strengths are really easy to determine. What are you good at? What are your core competencies as an organization? What are the things that you do really well that will serve as stepping stones for the future for the organization? Why this is important is because when you're building your strategy, as we'll discuss later on in the capability-driven strategy, you want to build your strategy on things that you're good on. So figure out what as a team and what as an organization are your strengths. Maybe it's design. Maybe it's implementation. Maybe you have really good communication as a team. Maybe you have penetration in certain markets. Whatever it is, brainstorm them and just take an honest look at where you're at and what you're good at. W, weaknesses. The opposite of strengths. What are you less good at? This isn't to be critical, but really to provide an honest assessment of where your organization might not be so good, skills that it might lack. Why it's important: A, you don't want to build a strategy based on your weaknesses, but B, it might create opportunities as an organization to say, we're not very good at this, but it's either not important, so we're going to let it go and just realize it's a weakness and just let it be, or say, this is a serious weakness that is going to hurt where we want to go long term. So here are the weaknesses that we need to shore up, and here are the weaknesses that we've decided to leave alone. At least by identifying it as a team and identifying it as a group, you'll realize where your shortcomings are. And it's a really good critical exercise to say, oh, okay, here we are, here's what we're good at, here's what we're bad at, and let's put our chips towards our strengths and shore up our weaknesses if necessary. Otherwise, we just know not to build a strategy around that area because it's not going to be as successful and we won't be able to win. Next, we'll talk about threats. So threats are looking at things in the future that might harm your progress towards your vision and slow down your accomplishing of your mission and your purpose. This is external, whereas the strengths and weaknesses are internal. So what's going to happen in the future that might hinder your ability to actually work on what you're doing and accomplishing what you're trying to accomplish? Later on in the strategic planning process, we'll talk about risks, but these are really threats, negative threats, whereas risks are just uncertainties. So what in your future of your business, what in the future of your organization do you think is going to hinder your progress? Conversely, opportunities, which everybody loves to talk about, is where are the opportunities for success? Where are the opportunities for growth? What are the things that are happening in the future outside of your organization or inside your organization that you can take advantage of to move closer towards your vision? As you've seen throughout the videos, everything that we do is moving towards your vision and moving towards the purpose of your organization. So when identifying opportunities, what opportunities exist for you in the future as an organization to move forward closer to your vision and closer to accomplishing your mission? As you move forward through your strategies, you'll build on your strategies from your opportunities and say, okay, here are some of the things that we want to take advantage of because we see them as opportunities in the future. The threats, as they come up, they will be things that you will identify as risks to mitigate in the future. Weaknesses will serve as the foundation for what not to build your strategy on and things to be aware of. They might also fall under threats depending on what weaknesses apply to your organization. And strengths will be the foundation to take advantage of the opportunities in your organization. So when you're meeting as a team, whether you're doing this with a small team or the whole management team or the organization wide, be very critical and honest about these things. And all it will do will be to identify weaknesses, opportunities, shortcomings, and take a really in-depth evaluation of your organization to say where you're at and where you're going to be able to go in the future. So that's SWOT in a nutshell, and I hope it was useful. So next time you go through this process with your organization, you'll learn a lot about where you're going and what you need to do.